here from GTN and welcome to week 19 of my triathlon year.
On Sunday, I went down to Hutton Moor Sports Centre to watch some of my friends swim in a Masters Gala that I should have been taking part in, which obviously I haven't been able to train for. And it was really great to hang out with my friends down there and watch them race. And there was some amazing performances from all my friends who I'm very proud of. And it was great to see everybody. And it made me realise that I really have been missing everybody that I'm training with. And they convinced me to go to a technique session on Monday, and perhaps that was the push I needed. So off I went on Monday night and went for a swim. It was great. There was only 6 of us in this technique session, 3 in a lane, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't feel so bad after all, as I thought I was going to be getting back in the pool after all this time. And that kind of spurred me on to maybe thinking that I'd have a rest day the next day and just ease back into it, and then go for a run on Wednesday to see how my knee and my lungs kind of held out really. And I have to admit I was pretty nervous about doing that, just because I was really worried about how I'd react if my knee didn't hold up, and if my lungs kind of packed in and I couldn't run for whatever reason. And I was getting a bus home from work, and as I was kind of pulling up to my bus stop, I saw 2 of my friends from Clevedon AC running around the Salthouse fields, and I got off the bus and the club captain drove past and gave me a wave. And then sure enough, I thought that was a sign to pull my trainers on and go for a run. And within 10 metres of me leaving the front door, one of my friends was out running, and he slowed down, I mean like properly slowed down, to run with me for a few minutes and have a catch up. And then I bumped into another one of my friends who was out walking her dogs, who's from the running club as well. And even though I was only out for 20 minutes and it was only 3k, I was running slower than I'd happily run an ultra marathon at. It's probably the best 3k I've ever run in my life. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very slow, but it's progress. And so this week I've swum and I've run, and whilst I'm still not 100%, I'm definitely not as bad as I have been, and my knee felt okay and my lungs didn't feel too bad. I still haven't heard back from the doctors about what they found in my chest x-ray, which I can only assume means that possibly there wasn't very much to worry about, but I'll chase that up next week. And yeah, hoping to hop on the turbo over the weekend and try and do some of that. So that's all positive news. And it did make me realise how much I value my friends that I run and swim and ride with, and that Clevedon AC and Pack Tri, the 2 clubs that I kind of was with this week, the people from those clubs really do mean the world to me, and it's made me realise that they are my friends. They aren't just people that I swim and run with. They genuinely are part of my life, and I really do value that.
Okay, I understand you're just coming back from a chest infection and you're probably chomping at the bit to get going with your training, and this is like a really common question and issue I hear time and time again with people sort of coming back from illness or an injury. And the main bit of advice I would give you is to actually sort of err on the side of caution rather than racing back into it. Wait until you feel 100% and then actually probably give it another day or 2, because quite often when you feel that little bit better, you still haven't fully recovered and it's still a few days later before you actually feel like you are really 100%. So wait until that point rather than sort of essentially like limping along and making things worse for yourself. If you are coming back from illness or injury, obviously start out super easy. So you want to make sure that you're just going out on really short runs, short rides, just testing the engine, nothing intense, keep it all aerobic, and maybe just focus on the technical aspects. So you actually kind of use that time to focus on the things maybe you don't normally have time for, and then just build up from there. So then start increasing sort of the durations and adding a little bit of intensity. But you really, the main bit here is just to be really careful and make sure you don't put yourself back in that hole that you were before. And given that you are quite close to the event now, there's probably very little need to start really ramping up the sessions. It's a case of getting yourself healthy, fit again, and then preparing for the event.
So yeah, following that advice from Mark Threlfall, who I was fortunate enough to meet in Bath on Monday when I was on my way up to Bath Spa University, had a good chat to him, talked about Lionel Sanders and Kona that's coming up this weekend, and we had a chat about the fact that I was coming back to training, and that was his advice. And I must admit that I am aware of that and I am taking it steady, but I'm also very aware that time is short, as Mark says, and everything that I eat and everything that I drink and every bit of rest that I have and every bit of training I have and every
breath you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Yeah, everything I do, I haven't really got time to turn around if I make any mistakes now, so everything's kind of critical. If I don't rest enough and I get poorly again because I've overtrained, then that's a massive setback. But likewise, if I don't train enough, then I won't be at my absolute peak in 9 months' time. So yeah, it's going to be a real balancing act, and it has spurred me on to kind of make sure that I've been eating and resting as much as I can, considering the beginning of term at university is always a bit mental and always incredibly busy and very, very tiring. So hopefully that'll settle down, but it's nice to be back in a routine, and fingers crossed should be back to being able to do a little bit more measured, just maybe 10% more next week, a little bit run a bit further, swim a bit further, and a bit longer on the turbo, and a bit more strength work to try and get my knee fixed. And hopefully next week for week 20, hopefully have a bit more kind of positive news to go alongside this week's positive news. Have a great week. Thanks for all the messages that I seem to get every week. It really does mean the world to me. Have a good one.